Chiefs breaking news doesn't stop, and neither do we here on the Chiefs Report, as Marquez Valdes-Scantling has officially been released by the Kansas City Chiefs. We appreciate you hanging out with us here on the Chiefs Report by Chat Sports. I'm your host, Jace Andrews, and, well, this was an expected move, but it's now official. Charles Goldman's the one I want to go to because he says in an expected move, the Chiefs are set to release wide receiver Marquez Valdes-Scantling. Shedding his contract was the team's only real option for significant salary cap relief via roster cuts this season. And again, breaking news keeps coming, but guess what? The videos keep coming as well. So hit that subscribe button because we're putting out the latest news, rumors, whatever you got, we've got it right here on the Kansas City Chiefs Report. So hit that subscribe button because we got daily videos, we got live shows, we're going to have watch parties when the season kicks back up in a couple months, and on top of which, it's a good environment for all of Chiefs Kingdom. We've got a good community. So hit that subscribe button and turn on those notifications as well so you never miss a video, especially when it's breaking news like this. All right, this was an expected move. I'm not going to sit here and say that I did not expect this. We talked about Marquez Valdes-Scantling being cut for, honestly, I'm going to say since week 13 of the season, just because the way he performed this year was not up to the caliber that we expected. Also, you have to take into account that $12 million is a lot of money, and I think that that is probably the bigger reason behind this. Why? Well, because he did well in the playoffs. I'm not going to sit here and say that he didn't play well in the playoffs. He did what he was expected, scored a touchdown in the Super Bowl, but you cannot pay $12 million for a guy who had not even 400 yards in a season. And ultimately, I think the biggest thing, this was a good move for the Chiefs and for Marquez Valdes-Scantling. Good on the Chiefs here from Charles Goldman for doing Valdes-Scantling a solid and letting him get a jump start on free agency. He should be remembered in KC and valued by other teams for showing up in a big way in the playoffs. Like I said, when you got to postseason time, it was time for MVS to light it up, and he did exactly that. Made a couple of clutch catches, again, had the touchdown in the Super Bowl, had the game-sealing catch against the Ravens. This guy played well in the postseason. The unfortunate part, though, that was not what happened in the regular season, and given the $12 million cap hit in 2024 and the Chiefs needing extra cap space, well, it just was the only option. Now, here's what's going to happen. Releasing him saved you $12 million, like I said, and this move pushed the Chiefs to around $36.6 million in cap space. Now, MVS was the only major caps clearing move. That's like the main thing here. I want to hit on it again. I've talked about cutting Justin Reed or Charles Omenihu or other people on this team, but the one that would save the most money, the one that made the most sense was Marquez Valdes-Scantling. You're getting yourself $12 million for a guy who this year had just one touchdown. Now, again, he has played well throughout his career. Obviously, spent some time with the Green Bay Packers in 2020, 2021, having 600 and 400 yards. First year with the Chiefs, 687, 2 touchdowns, average of 16 yards per catch. He was pretty good. The thing is, not this year. And that's where I have to look at and say, okay, this just doesn't work. 15 average, 1 touchdown, not even 300 and not 350 yards. 21 receptions, a couple of drops as well. I sit here and want to speak positively on MVS because he did a lot of positive things. I think overall, there was a good amount of stuff that he did in the postseason, and honestly, as a person, that really made him valued on this Chiefs squad and honestly in the Chiefs organization. But this had to happen. It had to. Why? You have to actually save some money. And that's the way to do it. It's a business at the end of the day. And ultimately, Marquez Valdes-Scantling was just a, well, I guess a hit on the side of it. You had to take him out. It's the way it goes. And honestly, this had to happen. Why? Well, for this to happen, because L'Jarius Sneed was also officially franchise tagged today. Now, this doesn't mean the Chiefs are going to keep him. In fact, and honestly, could mean the opposite. Basically, it's $19.8 million to keep him, but that doesn't mean the Chiefs are going to pay them. Kansas City's priority is to extend Chris Jones. I think they may trade him on the tag and trade, but either way, the tag is not going to be kept on. He'll either be extended or he'll be traded. Let's look through the options here of what could exactly happen. So, the first one, he is going to be on this franchise tag for a little bit, but then will be extended by the Kansas City Chiefs, and that contract value could go down, could go up. I couldn't really tell you exact prices right now. Or the second option, and I think the more likely option at this point, he will be traded within the next coming weeks to a opponent and be given in return, obviously, financial relief and a first-round pick. Now, the Chiefs will receive a potential first-round pick. Here's a potential trade that I think could work. You have L'Jarius Sneed with the Eagles, and the Chiefs receiving round 1, pick 22 from the Philadelphia Eagles. The Eagles have shown interest in Sneed, and on top of which they really need some cornerback help. So you're getting a first-round pick out of them. I don't know if this would be the greatest option, but I think it may be the best one you're going to be presented in my mind. So would you accept this? Are you taking this? Y for yes, N for no. Man, it stinks because I don't want to see L'Jarius Sneed go, but at the same time, man, a first-round pick could do wonders for a lot of different things. So let me know in the comment section down below, would you accept this trade? Type Y for yes or type N for no. All right, how does Chris Jones fit into all this? Well, guess what? Coming up, we're going to tell you exactly why this may mean that signing CJ could be absolutely imminent for the Kansas City Chiefs. You're going to want to stick around. Before that, though, let's say about one of our amazing sponsors, that is PrizePicks. They are the largest daily fantasy sports app in North America. And honestly, they're super, super exciting to play. I've been playing them pretty much for the past 8 months now, with football season now going into NBA, NHL, baseball season coming up. And it's really, really, really fun. Testing my skills. It's honestly made the sports viewing experience so exciting. Honestly, because it's just you against the numbers. Instead of battling thousands of other players, including pros and sharks, you pick more than or less than on 2 to 6 player stat projections. And you watch the winnings roll in. You can get a $100 deposit match by going to prizepicks.com/CLNS and using the code CLNS for that first deposit match. Here are my picks on the diamond. I've got some baseball season-long picks. Ronald Acuna Jr. I'm going the more on his season-long home run total, 37.5. StatCast has him projected to get 41 home runs, so he'll shatter that. Mookie Betts, 32.5 season-long home runs. Going the more on that, I know that he has had some struggles at times, but dude is still a killer on the diamond. And then KB playing at Coors Field. Listen, it's not that hard to hit a bomb there, and he seems fit and ready to have a comeback season. So you can go put in these exact prize picks at prizepicks.com/CLNS, and using that code CLNS, you're going to get the first deposit match of up to $100. Now, I know they don't have just baseball. They got NHL, NBA, PGA, NASCAR. If you're doing the hardwood, well, guess what? PrizePicks offers an injury insurance policy so that your entry will stay in play even if one of your players gets injured. Here's how it works. If you have a player who exits the game in the first half and then does not return in the second, that player projection won't count against you, and the rest of your entry will stay alive. Quick withdrawals, easy gameplay, and an enormous selection of players and stat types are what makes PrizePicks the #1 daily fantasy sports app. Go to prizepicks.com/CLNS and use the code CLNS for a first deposit match of up to $100. Shout out to PrizePicks. It's daily fantasy sports made easy. And speaking of PrizePicks, let's talk money, because ultimately this is what it comes down to. That's the business decision of the National Football League and why the Chiefs had to make these moves to clear up cap space. Let's start with MVS. Releasing him again gets you to $12 million, and then you put the franchise tag on L'Jarius Sneed. That's going to put you at $19.8 million. So the Chiefs' current cap space around, as we stand, obviously, never know the true estimate. This is just a rough estimate here. $18.8 million if you put these two moves combined. Now, I'm pretty confident that L'Jarius Sneed is going to be traded, because I don't really know too many times where a report has come out of the player being tagged and seeking a trade, the team saying that they're open to that, and then that not happening. Because I don't know about you. Let's say you're sitting here and you're like, oh yeah, your boss comes up to you, hey, we're going to sign you to this contract that may or may not be less than what you're worth. But if you want to go try and find another company, we're totally opening up in that. Like, you're not going to want to stay with that first company anymore, right? That's kind of what is happening with L'Jarius Sneed. And honestly, I'm not too upset about it, because I love L'Jarius. I would love him for him to be on the Chiefs. But he deserves it back. And guess who also deserves it back? Chris Jones. And ultimately, to me, he is more important. 4 years, $118 million is around the estimate that I'm giving for a Chris Jones contract. That would sit at about $29.5 million per year. Obviously, you could kind of move the money around, signing bonuses, all that stuff, but guarantee maybe $60 million of that. Still, I really have a hard time seeing L'Jarius Sneed staying in some ways, but there has been some reports that since he has been franchise tagged, if he's not traded, Chris Jones is gone. This creates for kind of a problem for Brett Veach in trying to figure out his defense. And so I asked the question once again. We've kind of talked about this in really high detail over the past couple of months. Who's more important? Is it Chris Jones or is it L'Jarius Sneed? I want you to get down in the comment section down below. If you think Chris Jones is more important, then type J. If you think it's L'Jarius Sneed, then type S. I've gone back and forth really all season long. I'll tell you who I think here in just a minute. All right, I think you only get one, to be honest. Let's start with that. I don't think you're going to be able to get both, just because of the contract negotiations that are currently going to go on with Chris Jones and the franchise tag now being applied to L'Jarius Sneed. The money just isn't fit unless you really restructure Mahomes' contract and then maybe restructure Jawaan Taylor as well. Money-wise, if you keep Chris Jones, you're going to have around $9.1 million in cap space left to spend. If you keep L'Jarius Sneed, you let Chris Jones walk, you're going to have around $18.8 million to spend left in free agency. Now, I think you have to sit here and think, okay, well, if we have 18.8, you can obviously make some more money in a lot of different ways, but still, this is all hypothetical. These are what would happen right now. That's not barring a Patrick Mahomes contract negotiation. That's not barring cutting Lucas Niang, which would save $1 million. This is not barring a contract restructurement of Jawaan Taylor's contract that could save you around $12 million. This is all hypothetical right now, trying to guess how much money is going to be in the pocket of Brett Veach to spend for the Chiefs in 2024. I can say this, though. I want Chris Jones. I think he belongs in Kansas City, and honestly, I think he should be here for the rest of his career. He's been amazing in Kansas City, and I think that may be even an understatement here. This past year, 10.5 sacks, 15.5 back in 2022. He's been the interior defensive line guy of the year. I mean, that's just like the way it is. He's been the best one to have on your team for the past 2 seasons, and I'm not ready to give that up just yet, especially the leadership value he brings, everything off the field. And why I mean off the field, I mean in the community, talking with his teammates, being a leader, helping out, and overall just being an asset to this organization that I just don't think L'Jarius Sneed is, which is why I'm picking Jones. I want to sit here and say I love Sneed. I'm not going to sit here and say that, oh, I don't want Sneed at all. No, that's not what I'm saying. But I think if I have to choose one of these guys, it's Chris Jones. The leadership value, the presence he has on the field. And in some facets, if you let go of Chris Jones, you have George Karlaftis on the edge, but you don't have a defensive tackle in there. You have Mike Pennell and Derek Nottie, but Nottie may be gone. He's a free agent too. Whereas if you get rid of L'Jarius Sneed, or let go of him rather, Trent McDuffie's right there. He's been one of the better quarterbacks in the National Football League, and he's just in his 3rd season coming up. I trust that Brett Veach will make the right moves, but I think we can all sit here and agree Jones is probably the more important one. And not going to lie, a first-round pick for L'Jarius Sneed does entice me a lot. We're going to have some more videos kind of going through all this and what this means for Kansas City in the near future, including a perfect free agency plan. Now the Chiefs actually have some money, so we'll talk about that later on in the couple shows coming forward. But for now, we really appreciate you. Hit that subscribe button. As always, we're putting out great content for you whenever we have news. But for now, peace out.